thank you so much for joining us for our first ever Refuel Digital Open Day. We have a variety of different things going on over the next hour and a couple of things to keep you entertained throughout the rest of the day, and we really hope you enjoy them.
We mustn't go any further without giving a special mention to everyone in our audience who are key workers, keeping the country going, and thank you all so much. You have our utmost respect and admiration for what you're doing at this time. And unfortunately, it is no secret that COVID-19 has somewhat scuppered our plans for 2020, and there are many activities that we've had to put on hold as a result of this international pandemic. We took special measures for our March Open Day to adhere to the then government guidelines, and of course, we've had to cancel April and May Open Days as well. And from the looks of things, there will be more Open Days potentially in the firing line.
However, we are determined that spirits will not be dampened, and we've been working extra hard over the last month to create an engaging, fun digital open day to keep the Refuel spirits alive. We may be unable to open our doors physically, but like we said from the beginning, Refuel continues come rain, sleet or snow, and now an international pandemic as it turns out.
Thanks for tuning in. We've got a few treats in store for you. We've got an update on our charity auction, an online treasure hunt, and some special guests joining us. We've got the owner of this car, we've got the guy that started this club, and we've got one of today's biggest automotive YouTube stars.
We thought this was also a good opportunity to just quickly drop back to why we started Refuel in the first place and what our plans are for the future. Some of you may have seen that we're all big fans of Caffeine Machine. If you're not aware of Caffeine Machine, it's up in Ettington, just outside of Stratford-upon-Avon in Warwickshire, and we strongly recommend that you go check it out. Not just online, wait until we're allowed out, and then take a trip up there for a weekend. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's literally petrolhead mecca.
Now, we love going up to Caffeine Machine, and we always will do. But taking that long trip up to Warwickshire many times, we realised that the Southwest needed somewhere for petrolheads and automotive enthusiasts to hang out, meet old friends, make new friends, and basically just somewhere to call home. We certainly do not want to be a copy of Caffeine Machine. But we did want to create something that drew out all of the incredible cars that people have locked away in their garages and workshops, feeling that there was nowhere to take them. That's why we created Refuel. And that's why, as soon as government guidance allows, Refuel will be open once again every month, come rain or shine. And it's also why we're not stopping there. The aim right from the start was for us to build enough momentum and enough visitors each month to justify building a dedicated Refuel venue. I have to tell you, in terms of the enthusiasm, support and attendance at Refuel that we've seen so far, we're already well ahead of schedule to reach that goal.
So keep your eyes on our blog at re-fuel.co.uk. Make sure you're on our mailing list and make sure that you follow us on all of our social media channels. We'll be keeping you all up to date with our progress towards building a permanent venue. And in the meantime, we hope you continue to enjoy Refuel and enjoy the journey with us.
So without further delay, let's crack on and head to our first guest today. So this special guest has been into cars since he was only a few years old. He was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5 and harnessed his passion for all to see by starting his own automotive club at the age of 15. He has a fantastic social media following. He's met so many big stars of the automotive and motorsport world, and he's still only 16 years old. Ladies and gents, please welcome Leon Watts, founder of Autoism. Hello, good to see you, mate.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good, yeah. How are you?
That's good. I'm very good, thank you. It's actually the first time I'm actually using Zoom. I like it already, a lot. I think it's great.
So, yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Leon.
No worries at all.
The reason that we got you on for a chat, Leon, is really just because you're quite an inspiration, really, aren't you?
Thank you very much.
Autoism. Tell us a bit about Autoism.
Autoism is like putting cars and mental health in the same time, which is really, really good. And yeah, also mental health, because I think autism is kind of a mental health condition that can't be solved really, but you know, it's I'm coping really well with it actually, because lockdown, you know, is quite a struggle, as you might suspect from me, but you know, actually I'm really coping really well, which is fantastic.
Oh, well done. Well done.
I've gone through a lot recently as well as lockdown, because my friend died back in February, and not only that, it's very sad. And also got bullied at school, which was really sad.
You know, I think bullying, unfortunately, is quite a common occurrence, isn't it? But
it is.
Look who's the internet star now, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm kind of the internet star that kind of has been seen, but he doesn't know who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
you're like
Leon,
an ninja, Leon.
Yeah.
So, what was the first cool car you ever rode in?
I rode in a Rover Mini with a Ford Cosworth engine. I think it was not Rover Mini. It was like an Austin, like 80s Mini. Yeah, Ford Cosworth engine. Yeah. I was 5 years old, and there's Rottweiler in the back with me. Actually, there was going around the block in it. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
How did you get a ride in that one then?
So my neighbour had one.
Okay.
Yeah, yellow it was. Yeah.
Yellow. Who introduced you to the world of cars, and how did you get the passion for automotive?
I just went on TV and Top Gear was on, and watched the episode where he lost the leg rover jumping over the trucks.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, I can't believe it. The world's most hated car got me into cars.
I think Top Gear is probably I think a lot of people our kind of age think, you know, see Top Gear as the start to their automotive passion. I personally
absolutely.
Well,
yeah, it's a very good program, and people who are non-car people just love it as well. You know,
it's great. Yeah, it's great. No.
Have you kept up with Top Gear as much with the new hosts, or have you moved over to the Grand Tour? Or
I've watched bits of the new Top Gear, but not as much as the other times that I have watched Top Gear, because I've watched it like all the time, but now it's like 3 times I've watched it now. So yeah, with the new series. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like the new one, but I prefer the old one because, you know, Jeremy Clarkson's quite funny, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is.
You know, Tiff Adele's the best.
I
think he's the best one. Yeah.
So Leon, let's go into your dream car. What's your dream car?
Aston Martin, a Vanquish Zagato. That's my favourite car. I also love a DB5 as well. Yeah, absolutely crazy. You know, Aston Martins, I just love them.
I can't remember, Leon. Were you at Refuel when we had the Zagato or the DB5?
I was. I sat in a DB5, I remember. Yeah, November, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that, and I was speaking to the owner of that. Yeah, actually, I was, yeah. I didn't see the Zagato, no, but I did speak to the owner that has a Zagato. What's his name? The one of the TRS. Yeah.
What's his name? First time I saw the Zagato at Refuel as well, and I absolutely loved it. It was incredible. I'm with you on that one, Leon. It's
a great car. It's just absolutely stunning. It's just so nice looking.
Yeah.
What a machine! What a machine!
Absolutely. V12 Zagato. Just love that. Absolutely love it.
Which format do you? Is it the shooting brake that you love, Leon, or is it like the Roadster, or all of them?
I love all of them, but the Volante is my particular favourite. I'd have that. That's what I'd have. Yeah.
Right.
Very
okay.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's a bit pointless because the range just falls down. It's like, oh, S word. It's just gonna go on electrics.
Better take a raincoat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's the fastest car you've ever been in, Leon?
Oh, Lex LFA, Joe's LFA. That is just absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Literally, you just felt everything that was happening, like the fuzzing of that V10. God, it was crazy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're describing. The first time I met him, he took me out for a quick spin around Marsh Barton.
Very nice.
Yeah,
I love that car. I absolutely love LFA. The LFA is like the best car I've made. One like the best car I've made. It's got everything you want. Space is pretty decent in the cabin, and also airbags on their seatbelt. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Very safe car. I love it.
That was nice of Joe to take you out for a spin.
It was, yeah. He's taken me out for a spin in his SLR722S Roadster as well, one signed by Sterling Moss.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that is fast. Yeah, not as fast as the LFA though. He's a great driver, isn't he, Joe? Yeah, absolutely great driver.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on the racetrack yet, but I'm sure he's pretty handy.
Not? Yeah, he's really, really good.
Handy. You've got to be to handle that sort of power, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Leon, who would you say is the coolest person you've ever met at a car event or show?
I don't know, really, because I've met so many people these days that are really nice and cool. So I don't know, really. But the guy that I've met that is a car guy that is going to be very cool is JK from Jamiroquai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a very nice man. I met him at Dick Lovett, actually.
Yeah.
And he came in the brand new Porsche 911 GT2 RS 991. Yeah.
That's
the one,
cool.
like, I think it was like the first one in the UK.
He's got quite a collection, JK, as well, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. He's friends with lots of my friends, like Shelter's Cowboy. Do you know him on social media?
No.
He's the boss of Kurt Geiger, Neil Clifford, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he actually invited me to Goodwood Revival. Absolutely.
Was that the Revival just gone last year?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Met Sir Jackie Stewart, I did. And,
wow.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
He's a very nice guy, he is, yeah.
I was at the Revival as well. I didn't bump into you. It's a pretty big place, though.
As was I.
Yeah. I was at Officer's Mess, so,
Okay.
yeah. And, two of his friends or family. Yeah, it's family, I think, yeah. And they couldn't make it, so he very kindly gave it to my mum, which was very kind.
Oh, that was kind, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very, very good of him.
So what inspired you to start Autoism then, Leon?
So basically, I saw this young millionaire at 13, and I thought, why not start a company? Because, you know, he made £1 million in 1 year. He was 13 at the time, and made £1 million after selling like lots of tax discs that were like, you know, so they're exempt now. And what he's done was like put like, I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was like some to do with tax discs. And he's from Taunton actually, and made £1 million. And I was like, wow, just could not believe that. And I just thought, yeah, I'm going to go for that as well, because I thought that was quite impossible, really. But when I was younger, I used to dream about having a car company to build cars, and I always dreamt of building a car. But, you know, it's a lot of hard work to do, really, isn't it? Building a car.
It really is,
you know, it takes 3 years. People have told me it takes them 3 years. I'm like, wow, that's mad.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Thornley Kelham in Cirencester, South Surney, and they restore Lancia B20s, and like Singer do with Porsche 911s, and it takes 3 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a project properly, it's certainly going to take. As a hobbyist, at least it's going to take you a few years. I mean,
absolutely.
There's plenty of projects out there that have probably taken a lot longer, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Classic Needs a good start on with, because they're very small and very easy parts to find, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're good cars, though, classic cars, but sometimes they're just awful. Awful to drive, awful to own.
Not always the best as a daily driver, are they?
No. I think old Porsches, though, are, like 924s and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Porsches just always work. I always trust Porsches with their reliability.
Yeah.
British,
quality,
not sure. Yeah, German quality is very good, absolutely. They're the ones that started the cars. That's the thing. You know, Lloyd from Aston Martin Bristol, yeah.
Yeah, no, Lloyd very well.
Yeah, they're all nice, aren't they, at these dealerships? Like Dick Lovett back in Swindon. And, it's amazing how supportive they have been. Because you expect dealerships to be quite rude sometimes, just not say, no, don't go in. But actually, they said, yeah, come in, feel free, sit down or something in the car, you know.
Yeah.
Which is very, very kind.
Oh, good. They're obviously looking after you.
When I paid a visit to Dick Lovett Aston Martin a few months ago. And I accidentally walked in on the private unveiling of the Aston Martin DBS Volante.
Oh, really?
And it was all the clients, and there were Ferraris and Aston Martins everywhere, and I had no idea. And they invited me in with open arms, gave me a
they're very nice at Aston Martin Bristol.
Cars. I think
my
of all the
friends
dealerships I've ever been to, Dick Lovett is by far one of the kindest.
Yeah, they're very, very nice. Yeah, they're all nice really these days.
Well done, Dick Lovett Swindon. They're obviously
absolutely. They've been very supportive. All Dick Lovett have, and yeah, it's great. Absolutely.
That's great. I know Dick Lovett have actually come along with a few cars. I don't think as a commercial arrangement, but just
stitched out.
Some of their staff I think have been down and to Refuel and bought a few nice cars and stuff. They seem like a good bunch of guys.
They are, yeah. Elliot Newton, Elliot Newton that comes to Refuel.
Right.
Yeah, he actually used to work at Dick Lovett, yeah.
Okay.
He was a social media manager of Dick Lovett as a whole. Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know Elliot. Yeah.
He's a really nice guy, Elliot. Yeah.
Leon, you've met a lot of famous people through the autoism
I have,
brand
yeah.
you've created. So out of either all the people that you've met, or maybe someone that you haven't met, who is your automotive idol and why?
I don't know. They're all really good, and that's the thing. And they're all very inspiring. They all have some stories to tell, really, and I just love it. I think it's great. So, but the one I've spent the most longest with is Tiff Liddell.
Yeah,
a whole day I spent with Tiff Liddell. Yeah, actually 2 days really, because he actually stayed at the same hotel. Surprisingly, I was like, Tiff, Paul, what are you doing here? From Love Cars, and they just stayed at the same hotel. And what they were driving was a 720. And Paul was in a DBS Supergera, and there was Rage Buggies as well. And the other celebrity I spent the longest with is Guy Brayman from Coldplay.
right.
Spent 2 hours with Guy Brayman. Yeah, he's a very nice friend. Sorry?
Is he a massive car nut?
He is, absolutely. He's got a Bitsarini Strada GT. He's got a Veyron. He's got a lot of Porsches. So yeah, he's got a 911. And what else he got? I think he used to have 9146, I remember. And he recommends Porsches quite a lot. He does. And yeah, he's got a 718. Not 718. I mean 550 Zagato. Not 356 Zagato. That's it. Yeah. So it's a continuation as restoration. So yeah, it's really, really nice. And they're great cars, Porsches, yeah. But the most famous person I've met, it's definitely Guy Brayman, I'd say, because Coldplay is so huge these days.
Yeah,
absolutely massive. They are, yeah. And Chris Martin from Exeter, actually.
He is indeed, yeah. His father used to own a caravan sales business.
Oh, really?
Called, Martin's Caravans, I think it was called.
Oh, Martin's Caravans, is that by Cliff St Mary, is it?
It is,
yeah.
So
I don't know if he still owns it, but he certainly used to own it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So Leon, how are you passing the time in lockdown? What are you doing to keep yourself busy?
Doing just stuff for autoism, like plans and thinking about it all, and doing music and watching TV, that kind of stuff. Playing games sometimes, but I watch TV more than playing games, actually, to be honest, because games I just kind of think, it's just not real life, is it? Let's just go to reality, shall we?
So you're planning for autoism then? I know you did a fantastic charity event.
I did, yeah.
£1,650.
I do about the future plans a lot, and I do lots of research for cars, and that's the thing. 'Cause I didn't know much about cars. I knew about the model names, but I didn't know much about the fuel efficiency and how much it would deliver and the engine and that. And yeah, it's amazing what you find out, really.
Up on your knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important. Absolutely. I'm going to do blogs in future, so I think that'd be good to do. And I've got other plans as well, which is very exciting. And it might come into a product. I've got a design product actually as a plan. Yeah.
You've just written us a fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Which is now live. So hopefully people have been on our blog reading your guest blog post.
Absolutely. People are very proud of me for doing money for the NHS, well, helping out. That's important. And my friend actually is the highest bidder actually at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing. About £25 at the moment. So that's what I checked last time, and that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of myself. And Neil Clifford actually is raising lots of money for the NHS right now, and it's really, really good that he's doing that. And I actually watched that he had 2 million shoes for the NHS.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, it's a very worthy cause at the moment, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. It's brilliant. It really is.
People doing some good stuff at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. It really is, because at the moment it's a really dark time for us all. I'm actually keeping well and happy because I think I'd be most likely to be depressed right now, but I'm not, which is good.
Good. That's really good to hear.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
So Leon, we're going to throw some random quickfire questions at you.
Go ahead.
And the idea is that you just say the first thing that comes into your head. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Bangers or mash?
Bangers.
F1 or Le Mans?
Le Mans.
Good choice. Favorite film?
Yeah. Favorite film? Fast and Furious and Snatch.
Snatch, great film. If you had to trade lives with someone, who would it be and why?
I don't know who it would be really.
Maybe a
Probably
famous
Chris
racing
Martin.
driver or something.
I'd probably say Chris Martin if I could have his life. That'd be great. Yeah.
And here's the last funny one for you. Would you rather be attacked by one horse-sized duck or 20 duck-sized horses?
A horse-sized duck. I mean.
That's a big duck, Leon.
Big duck.
Not 20 odds.
You go for the one.
Okay,
Just go for one, please. Not too much overloading for me.
Leon, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome.
And like we said before, if there's anyone out there that wants to read more about Leon and the setting up of auto, then you can go to our blog, re-fuel.co.uk/blog.
Great.
You can go to Leon's social media channels, which are in. There's links to those in our guest blog that Leon's just written. And also, as Leon said just now, he very kindly provided a t-shirt and a metal pin badge for our charity for the NHS auction. So thank you very much for that, Leon. And thank you.
No problem.
For joining us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, mate.
You're very welcome. See you later.
Yeah.
Cheers, Leon.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
So whilst many key workers are out there keeping the country going, there are also a whole load of people who are furloughed or even worse, unemployed right now due to this crazy situation we find ourselves in. So as part of our job to keep you all entertained, we thought we'd put together a little internet treasure hunt. I say treasure hunt, it's more of a cross between a treasure hunt quiz and murder mystery. No, we haven't gone mad. Well, I guess we kind of have, but that's not the point. Here's how it works.
We're going to give you a list of clues and questions and a separate list of people, cars, places and numbers. Each clue, when solved, will lead you to a website somewhere on the internet. When you get to that website, you'll need to answer the question by hunting around the website for the answer. Each answer will give you a person, place, car or number to eliminate from the preset list of people, cars, places and numbers that we've given you. At the end, you'll be left with one person, one place, one car and one number. So for example, the clue might be where we've hosted Refuel since October last year. Once you've worked out which website that is, there will then be a question to answer when you get there, and that may require a bit of searching. Once you've got the answer, eliminate it from the list. The questions vary a bit in how difficult they are, but we've tried to make it nice and challenging for you.
Why would you want to give this a go? Well, firstly, it should be good fun. But secondly, we have a couple of prizes up for grabs. We've got a Refuel hat for the first person who gets the correct answer at the end. And in addition to that, there'll be a random draw at 9 p.m. tonight for all the people who submitted correct answers. And the winner of that draw will get a brand new Refuel t-shirt. The winners will be announced on social media, so get cracking on with the clues, submit your answers, and keep your eyes peeled for later on tonight.
The link for our online treasure hunt will be posted on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter right at the end of this video. If you're watching this video back at a later time or date, then I'm afraid the prizes may have already been won, but the link will still work and you can still have a crack at the online treasure hunt. Don't forget to stay tuned for the link a little later on. Now, time for our second guest.
So our second guest for today is a bit of a local legend. Some of you may have noticed that one of our Refuel regulars often comes along in a bright red Ferrari F40. And the owner, Joe, or otherwise known as Lucky Supercars on Instagram, has a collection of cars that boggles the mind, to say the least. And we're talking a serious petrol head here with a serious petrol head garage. Like, it's crazy. So we couldn't pass up the chance to get Joe on the chat today and find out how he came to own his dream collection of cars and maybe find out what's next in the Lucky Supercars collection. Joe, welcome to our digital event. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad. And where are you at the moment?
Currently in the office.
In the office, slaving
Working away.
What have you been up to then, mate? I'm guessing that work's still pretty busy.
Yeah, and taxi and stuff. It's we tend to get a lot of cash inflows around this time. So I'm in the office now. I'm sort of looking out, and there's quite a few of the guys. We have to be all remote set up anyway for the regulators. So it's pretty normal. But yeah, it's just could do without it, but actually use the time quite well just to catch up on stuff, and so yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Some clients are absolutely reeling, some are absolutely flying because of it. It's you get winners and losers, don't you?
So we're gonna fire a few questions over to you. I think Josh has got the first one.
I have, yeah. What was your first ever car? Not supercar, just your first ever car. Don't be embarrassed, but
mate, it's a dark green Citroen AX 1.4 TZX 5-door, and had a little mess around under the bonnet, but you can't really mess with that too much. 134,000 miles and never missed a beat. J-Reg.
Wow.
Registration was FGO, and back then Figo was obviously a big player for Real Madrid, so obviously the car's called Figo. And it was you shut the door. It was one of those where you shut the doors, you didn't know whether you shut the doors because they're so thin. But yeah,
that's just French cars, isn't it?
Yeah. Figo.
What happened to it?
The head gasket went, so I did what all responsible owners do and chucked an egg in it and then put it through the auction. So, and that was that.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Have you done the reg check on it to see if it's actually still out there somewhere?
Well, there's something where people go and buy their old cars, and I would have got rid of that car. So I'm 36 now. I would have got rid of that car when I was 19, something like that. So, but it had 134 on the clock, and as I said, it wasn't mechanically that sound. So I doubt it's about, but I know people are sort of finding their old cars and buying them, but you don't see any Citroen AXs because it was rusty then. So I can't see it survived.
I did see. Do you remember the old? There was a Citroen AX Salsa in that like bright blue that they did, and there's one of those that goes around Exeter every so often. I see it on the M5, and the only reason I recognise it is because my mum had exactly that car, the AX Salsa, and I look at it and I think, how is that thing still going?
Yeah, it's if I could find it, I would snap it up definitely.
So, Joe, who is it who got you into cars when you were younger?
Well, like my family, nobody is into cars in my family, particularly, or when we were kids. But there was a guy that some of you will know, on the Mill on the X in Exeter pub, and there was the owner was a mate of my old man's, and basically he bought a Testarossa and went down there and having lunch or whatever, and he took me out of it, and that was basically it. So usually I was probably 9, 10, something like that. And yes, then that was it basically.
So what's your favourite car, like, ever made? If you could pick any car, any age.
It's difficult. I mean, I can't do it. I can't, because there's so many quirks on. There's good bits of stuff, and I can't. Yeah, I can't. I mean,
do it. Would it be easier to pick your favourite child?
Yeah, probably actually. Yeah. That. No, I think I'd like to say like a Miura or something, but it's a little bit obvious. But some anything that sort of started something is always holds a special place.
Yeah, definitely. What was your first proper supercar?
Probably proper supercar would have been my CLK Black Series. That I get taunted about it quite a lot because so I didn't sell it to my mate. Michael LaRusso from Lusso Prestige sold it. So I bought it from Romans when Michael was at Romans. I had stuff going on, and it was one of those things where, you know, when you think, oh, like, I'm going to do the sensible thing, and you have that 30 seconds of, right, okay, fine. And within that 30 seconds, it basically sold. So I didn't have time to, oh no, hang on. I didn't have time to think about it. Should have never sold it. Never, ever sold it. It was brutal. It's such a good car. And so it sold to this guy. And then that guy then sold it to my mate from Minutia Detailing, Mike. So he drives it around and he sends me lots of footage, etc., of him having fun. And I love that car. And
you tried to buy it back off it?
Yeah, but
that's a yes.
Well, he knows what I paid. He knows what I sold it for and stuff. So he's just sort of squeezing me. But yeah, maybe. Yeah. But then again, I say it's sort of like an old girlfriend. Do you ever really go back? And you know, especially not after your mates had a go. So that's sort of where I am with it.
Hi there, kids.
Yeah. Family friendly.
Oh dear.
Out of your entire collection, Joe, you can only keep one. What is it going to be?
LFA.
Yeah? Which one, orange or white?
The orange. Because as an all-rounder, it's just like, you know, they don't get enough. They don't get enough credit. They're exceptional bits of kit. They really, really do everything. And it's just sort of the power up through the range. Because one of the things, like, you know, that people sometimes don't realize is you have McLaren's fantastic car. It's 0 to 60. You know, there's a lot of headline grabbing. Actually, Lambo is your absolute prime example. The headline grabber, 0 to 60, full drive, traction, etc. They run out of legs, and you sort of see it on track days and things where very, very good cars just keep on, and they're sort of down a back straight or whatever, and it's quite linear power, so it's just accelerating. And the LFA, when we've had track days, etc., and I've taken that car, it performs so well. And it's because it's unique as well. You don't see them, just everything about it, just the engineering, and it's absolutely unbelievable, that car.
Mm-hmm.
So just to put that choice of keeping the LFA, to put that into context, I'm not sure that everyone knows what your full collection is. So do you want to just tell everyone what you've actually got in your garage?
There's an F40. There's 2 LFAs. There is a McLaren Mercedes 722S, which is the Sterling Moss signed one. And there's an Alpha 8C Competizione, the coupe version, not the soft top. GT8 Aston, Vanquish S Aston. There's a normal Vantage carbon black V12 Vantage as well. And yeah, there's a Tesla as well, but we don't really talk about
that. And your Ford Ranger.
And my Ranger, which as an everyday car and towing stuff around, best car going.
See, there's definitely a Citroen AX size hole in that collection. Absolutely.
I could keep it in the back of the Ranger, to be honest. So, yeah, load it up and just carry it around.
So, obviously, you've got up quite a collection of cars. I mean, that's like petrolhead's dream sort of stuff, isn't it? So, you're obviously rather adept at buying cars. So, when you're looking at cars, whether it's just something you want for fun or whether it's an investment, what is the most important thing that you look at when you're looking to buy a car?
So like if for me, if you're looking at proper like investment grade type stuff, because it is sort of what I do as a job as well. So I would never buy something knowing it's gonna, or there's a high probability it's gonna lose money, etc. I'll look at something and it's got to be unique and something that I know a lot of buyers now will not pick up a 488 or something like that, because there's just too many of them. You know, you're never going to get a good run of, you know, something truly unique. Never going to happen again. So like that McLaren Mercedes, there shouldn't be a you guys know engines, there shouldn't be a supercharger in a road car. It makes no sense. Superchargers were for planes because the air's too thin, etc. So for them to put a supercharger that big in that car to generate that scream and that event, never ever going to happen again. They just will never ever ever do it again. LFA, all the money that was spent, the F1 factory stayed open. It's basically a Toyota F1 V10, and never going to happen. They'll never do, and that's what I specifically look for. It's the never ever going to happen again. F40, how it's built and just the power and the delivery and just the raw, never going to happen again. And that's the big that is the main sort of driver for me. And to be honest with you, like beauty, like the Alpha 8C, that is a stunning. They will never build, from that whole carbon fiber tub in one piece. The engineering and the craftsmanship to do that, it will just never ever 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 happen again. And that's the main thing I look for.
It's the never going to happen again. Okay, yeah.
So, what's the most disappointing car you've ever owned, Joe?
Easy, a 1905 or was it 1906 Holzman. In fact, I'm about to post a photo of it because I had, to be honest, I lost my phone that had all photos. I went through the classic phase of going, maybe it's like maybe I try and do like the London to Brighton and there was a period where there was like some money in it, so people would be buying like Holzmans and stuff like that, and basically, or the Dion Boot or things like that. Basically, you get them running for London Brighton, and then you sell it on, and it's sort of people are sort of doubling, tripling their money. So anyway, my cousin and I decided that we'll get involved in this, and worst idea ever. They're just first they make a mess on your garage floor, because in this package as well there's a Model T and a Dodge Brothers Roadster, which I have still got, and I don't even know where it is. Like my cousin's storing it somewhere. I'm just not interested. And they were basically just almost. I know this is a family show, but they were poor vehicles, very very poor. It's an absolute pain. Like no fun, no nothing, just rubbish. Yeah. So basically anything pre like 1960, it's just not worth it.
I'm glad you said 1960. It means that my Beetle got in. It made the cut.
Yeah. Well, you prepped me before we started, so I thought I wouldn't.
I'll give you the tenner later. Thank you, mate.
All right, thanks.
So, other than your Citroen AX, what's the next arrival for your collection going to be?
I don't know. I'm falling into the big 5 Ferrari thing. Like I'm starting, I'm sort of getting a hankering, but I am liking an F50. I have had a look at one recently, but with everything going on at the minute, and also I'm trying to finish a development that I've got going on. I should really be concentrating on getting that done before then going to look at any other vehicles. But I think something in that sort of ilk would be good. I did get offered a Carrera GT, and I've got like a bit of a again sort of the second of the sort of V10 legends, being the LFA and the Carrera GT. Again, never be done. They just won't make V10s, and how they just everything about those cars. So again, I do have a something along those lines would be great. It definitely won't be something modern though.
Who is your automotive idol and why?
Well, actually, it's a bit of a sore subject, because it was Sterling Moss, and I was lucky enough. The SLR he signed. It's the only SLR 722S that he did sign, and that was because of just basically the guts of those guys back then. Doing what they're doing. People having accidents, fatal accidents around them all the time, and to sort of just get back in that car and across multiple. Back then there's multiple series. They're sort of racing every other day, and
Yeah.
You know, I just think, you know, what absolute legend. And you know how he treated Mike Hawthorne when he vouched for him that he didn't reverse it. You know, I don't know, I can't recall the full story, but basically gave up his world championship by basically being a gent. Is you know, it's you know, true icon and what it was all about, really.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Sterling?
No, I didn't. He was there was a thing at Goodwood a couple of years ago, but he was unwell, so he unfortunately couldn't get there. And it was the previous owner of the car to me that organised the signature section, and it's sort of protected. There's a couple of signatures on the car that sort of PPF'd, and then the whole car's then PPF'd over again. So yeah, hopefully it will be there for all eternity type thing. And yeah, real nice feature.
I remember when you brought it along to our first refuel, and it's quite I don't know if eerie is the right word, but I remember standing there looking at it thinking that's incredible that he's actually signed the car in two places as well, and obviously all protected and stuff. That's a very special car. I mean, it was a special car anyway. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then. So that's the end. That's the end of the sort of the longer-winded discussions. We've got some quick-fire questions for you, Joe. So just literally answer straight off the bat. You ready?
Yeah. Go.
Right. Bangers or mash?
Bangers.
F1 or Le Mans?
F1.
Favorite film?
Back to the Future.
If you had to trade lives with someone, who would it be and why?
George Howe, because he's part of Refuel and I'm not.
Good choice. Good choice. Would you rather be attacked by one horse-sized duck or 20 duck-sized horses?
20 duck-sized horses.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah,
20 duck-sized horses.
myself.
I think I'd go for that. So you can kick him away, can't you?
Yeah.
Just need the stamina to be able to keep kicking.
I got good stamina, George, so it's not a problem.
Well, I think that's it.
So, Joe, thank you very much for joining us, mate. And also, while you're here, thank you very much for providing the rides in the F40 and the LFA for the NHS charity auction. That's very much appreciated, mate.
No worries.
And once all this is over, we hope that we'll see you back at Refuel in one or many of your collection.
Absolutely.
So look after yourself, mate, and we'll see you very soon.
Lovely. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Joe.
Bye.
Thanks.
In response to the recent outbreak of coronavirus, NHS Charities Together are working with NHS England and their member NHS charities on a nationally coordinated fundraising appeal that supports NHS staff and volunteers caring for COVID-19 patients. We decided that as part of our digital event, we have set up an auction, which 100% of the proceeds go to this appeal.
We've teamed up with some great local businesses and individuals who have very kindly donated things like automotive merchandise, experiences, rides in supercars, which have gone into our auction with all the proceeds going to this COVID-19 appeal. To access the auction, simply go to re-fuel.co.uk/NHS and look through the auction list. If you see anything you'd like to bid on, just register and bid. It works in a very similar way to eBay, and then of course the highest bidder at the end of the auction wins. Bidding closes at 9 p.m. tonight, Sunday, 19th of April. It's that straightforward. So please, all dig deep for our incredible NHS charities and give something back whilst enjoying your winning items.
All auction items have been provided by fantastic businesses that we know, and many of which we've been lucky enough to work with since we launched last year. So a huge thank you to all of you who provided these great auction items. So we're going to quickly run through all the items and let you know who donated each one of them.
So we've put in a Refuel hoodie and a first edition card.
We've got a magnesium GT3 wheel, which was used at Le Mans 24-hour race. That's donated by Pit Lane Motorsport.
Signed Nigel Mansell book donated by the Signature Store.
We've got a Mansell Senna taxi picture, that iconic moment when Nigel Mansell gave Ayrton Senna a lift on the back of his car. That picture is signed by Nigel Mansell himself, and that's been donated by the Signature Store as well.
We've got a supercar passenger rides. They are donated by Joe at Lucky Supercar.
Afternoon tea for two at Limpstone Manor, donated by Michael Keynes.
We've got a ride to the official Refuel reopening later this year in either a Rolls-Royce Drophead, Ferrari 488 Spider, or a Ferrari Portofino, and that's been donated by the Windsor Carriage Company.
We've got some Michelin goodies, which was donated by Exmouth Tyre and Exhaust Centre.
A signed and numbered 2019 F1 print, donated by David Johnson from Formula Art, who's been to Refuel, I believe it was in December, to do a live paint session.
We've got a 1 hour off-roading experience driving a brand new Land Rover or Range Rover, and that's been kindly donated by the Land Rover Experience West Country.
We've got a autism t-shirt and pin badge, which was donated by Leon himself of Autism Car Club.
And a ride to Refuel in a McLaren 675 LT, donated by Neil at Southmore Farm Machinery.
The auction is live now. It went live on Wednesday evening and has been running since then. So head to re-fuel.co.uk/NHS, check out the great items on offer and start placing your bids before the auction ends at 9 PM this evening, Sunday the 19th of April.
We will be announcing the winning bidders of the individual auctioned items on our Instagram and Facebook stories shortly after the end of the auction. So that's this evening at 9 PM. Make sure you keep an eye out at 9 PM. If you're not on Instagram or Facebook, don't worry, you will still receive an email to let you know that you've won.
Just to reiterate, 100% of the money raised will be going towards the NHS Charities Together COVID-19 appeal to help support NHS staff and volunteers. So again, thank you so much for supporting. Dig deep, get bidding. But now it's time for our next guest.
If you know Refuel well, then you'll know we're always looking for new ways to provide value to the Southwest automotive community. And having regular contact with literally thousands of petrol heads at our monthly open days, the need for a quality car storage solution in the Southwest became apparent.
We were up for the challenge, so over the last couple of months behind the scenes, we've been working hard to create a dedicated indoor secure car storage facility that petrolheads across the region can utilise. There are various levels of service and preservation available, no matter your vehicle or your budget. We wanted to make sure that this service would reflect the true spirit of Refuel, and that is that it works for everyone.
We've called it the Refuel Vault. Storage prices start from £18 per week. You can find out more information by going to re-fuel.co.uk/car storage, and that will take you to the dedicated website for Refuel Vault. Now it's time for our next guest. George, over to you.
Our final guest today is probably a familiar face to you all, with over 250 million, that's with a B, views on his YouTube channel. I wouldn't mind betting almost all of us have seen at least one of his videos in the last few years. He's one of the founding fathers of automotive YouTube as we know it today, and we're extremely honoured to have him with us on this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe I'm saying this, I give you Paul Wallace of Supercars of London. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, not too bad. How are you guys? Yeah, really good, thanks, really good.
That's definitely a couch I recognise. It's been in a few of your YouTube videos recently.
Yeah.
Classic.
This is the only sort of corner of the place that we've got where it's like half aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, it's the corner that I tend to get on in terms of like just doing intros, outros, anything that I need for the videos, and serves a purpose in these lockdown times.
Well, it's really good to meet you because you are somewhat of a YouTube superstar, and certainly an inspiration in terms of the journey you've been on with your cars, and your videos are always very entertaining. So it's we're honoured that you've joined us. Thank you.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. I just thought when the opportunity came on to chat to like-minded car guys, I mean, yeah, I just jump at the chance, which probably it's better that we're in this lockdown period, because I just end up bouncing here, there and everywhere, that actually during this period, like, it's just nice to be able to be in one place and just, it's easier to follow a diary and a schedule.
Yeah. There certainly are a few advantages to this lockdown, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to remain positive.
We've been on a few video calls where I think chatting amongst petrol heads is always fun, but at the moment, because we're all shut indoors, it's a release, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great
yeah.
to actually be able to be around petrol heads and chat to them.
It's like therapy.
100%, just like an interaction, like a similar interaction to like going down to a car meet or something like that. And it gives a nice break away from all of the family video calls that I'm on at the
moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess for us, this is this is what Refuel is all about, bringing petrol heads together and stuff. So it's nice that we can still do it, despite the fact that we can't open every month at the moment.
Definitely. Next time I'm down that way, then I'll have to hit you guys up.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we can go grab a beer or something. We'll all need as much petrol head interaction as we can get when this lockdown thing's over.
Absolutely. Let's just hope that we get there. Like, we let this lockdown end at the beginning of the summer, rather than like dropping us into like mid-June or whatever, if we get a second wave or whatever, and then we're all screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Paul, you're a massive YouTube superstar. What actually inspired you to create your automotive YouTube channel?
Obviously Top Gear was probably our main point of consuming, seeing these cars driving around, hearing them, and watching Jeremy, James and Richard bash around on road trips. It wasn't necessarily an inspiration, but that's where I definitely got the bug for how car content was created. But I started on YouTube quite early. So it was more luck and being in the right place at the right time, that I was going into central London, seeing these cars, and rather than reading about them in magazines or watching them on Top Gear, I was actually seeing them. So I started to take photos of them, but then quickly turned to video, because you were able to capture the whole experience of what it was like to see a supercar on the road much better. And from there, it was just a natural progression to upload to YouTube. So the real early Supercars of London content was, in its most basic form. There was no editing. It was a raw file getting dumped on YouTube. And I kind of just went, oh, okay, let's see what happens. And all of a sudden, 200 views, 400 views. And then as YouTube itself started to develop as a platform, and it allowed us to create longer form content, that's when I started to delve back into the Top Gear archives, and I'm sure you'll be able to see some elements of some of those guys' challenges in some of the videos that I produce today. So I still use a lot of the old Top Gear stuff as inspiration, but to begin with, to start with, it was just more like, I didn't think I'm going to go and make YouTube content. It kind of just happened. I think that's probably just because it happened so long ago.
It might be one of the reasons why it's been such a massive success, because it was natural. It wasn't forced. It just happened.
Yeah. It was almost by accident that I grew a base following. I never really got into YouTube to be like, right, I'm going to make a career out of this. I'm going to earn money out of this. It was more, I just like cars. I'm going to film them because it was a hobby of mine, and I tried to hide it from all of my school friends whilst they were playing football and doing sports and doing all the other cool kids were doing at 15, 16. And I was going into London chasing after supercars. It just, it was kind of opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, for what it's worth, I think that sort of natural passion, that comes through in all of your videos. It really does.
Thank you. Yeah, I think just every day I kind of look at what I've done and what I'm doing and really have to pinch myself that I'm essentially living the dream. There are obviously times where I'm locked away in a room editing away, but most of the time I'm out there driving dream cars and didn't really know that everything that I did back then would lead to where I am today. So I feel pretty lucky that I'm able to get up every day.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure you've had a lot of memories with a lot of cars and driving trips, etc. But what would you say your favourite car memory is to date?
Fave, there was probably one road trip that springs to mind in terms of a collective memory, which was when I was on a European road trip with James, Sam, and Seb. And we had really planned and thought this through, because we had realized and started to recognize that on these road trips, we were all kind of filming the same thing and eventually putting up 4 different perspectives of fundamentally the same day. So we worked really hard on coming up with challenges, again, using Top Gear as inspiration, what is now the Grand Tour, and came up with a number of challenges as we would cross the French border to Italy, across to Corsica, Sardinia. I was driving a Lamborghini Huracan. James and Sam were both in McLarens, and Seb was driving his Lotus. And that trip, I think, captured everything that I dreamt up of what I wanted YouTube to be. Just having fun with friends, creating these memories, but being able to capture them on camera and then share them with the rest of the world that were interested in what we were doing. And there are just so many memories that I look back on, I'm just like, I cannot believe that happened. I cannot believe we caught it on camera. Like, we basically did an all-nighter on a ferry to mainland Italy. So none of us had had any sleep. We then did a no sat-nav challenge from the coast into central Rome, which is just the worst place to drive a supercar. And me and James got lost. We ended up driving down these tight, narrow roads, which I actually genuinely, about 98% of the cars that were parked up on these streets all had damage on. And you're just driving these cars going, oh my God, if anyone knocks a wing mirror off my car, I can't afford to replace it. So there was just an element of jeopardy to everything. And yeah, there was some great moments on that road trip. And I think collectively, as like a 5-day trip, it ended perfectly as we were driving back to Monaco. The sun was setting. We all had walkie-talkies, and we were all just sort of reminiscing on what just happened. And we were like, we need to recreate this. We need to make this an annual thing. And ironically, since 2017, that road trip, we actually haven't been to Europe together for a road trip, which is really sad. But we always find ourselves in the most random countries, crossing paths again. But we're working on it. We're working on making sure that in 2020 we get another road trip on the go. Because I think
sounds like a big group road trip is well overdue. Then I'll expect to see some footage of that soon.
100%. Yeah, as soon as we're out of this lockdown, and I think as soon as Europe opens up, I think we'll have to be a little bit careful, especially with this whole social distancing thing, because I just don't think borders are going to get dropped and the lockdown, and we're all going to be a free-for-all to travel wherever. I do think we're going to still have to be quite careful, but we'll do our best with the rules that we get given to make sure that we can go on some sort of road trip, so that we can put some miles on the cars that have just been sat there just getting bird poo on and everything.
Of course, because yours is parked outside, isn't it?
Yeah, they're literally sat under trees at the moment. So the Lambo has a cover, but the Ferrari is literally just sat there exposed to the elements, which is not a good thing. But at the end of the day, it lived in Saudi Arabia for most of its life. So I'm pretty sure it's quite enjoying the temperatures that we're getting at the moment here.
So, Paul, before becoming an automotive YouTuber, what did you do?
I set my channel up in 2008, but had a channel previous to that, which I started in around 2006, which would have meant that I was 15. I was still running around filming cars in central London. I wasn't earning any money, and it was definitely not a plan for it to become a career. I did a paper round from the age of 15, I think. So I did a paper round all the way up till 17. I worked for a couple of retail stores doing normal jobs, tills, selling. I was working in the stock room at Argos for Christmas one year. So in terms of not like 16-year-old sort of weekend jobs, I was definitely in that cliche bracket of just jumping into retail and just doing all of the Christmas sales, everything. Then when I came out of school, I took a gap year and I went and worked for HROing my local HRO it doesn't exist anymore, a Ferrari and Maserati dealership. So I kept banging on the door, asking for a job, and I thought I could just go and clean cars, like a fairly basic job, or what I thought was a fairly basic job. Incredibly naive to think that actually there is a real art to cleaning these cars and detailing them. So I was going in there being a 16-year-old kid, not really knowing what I wanted to do, but just going, I want to be around cars. I just want to be around these cars that I love so much. I'll clean them. And they're like, absolutely not. In fact, we'll put you in the office and you can go and take photos of cars and put them up on the website. So I actually started to advertise all of the Ferrari and Maserati stock on Piston Heads, Auto Trader and Ferrari.com. And then eventually set up an eBay account because HRO had all of these spare parts, excess luggage sets for 599 GTBs and the most random things that were just sat in a back room. So they said, oh, why don't you just try and sell them? So I basically would go in, photograph them, put them up onto eBay. So I'd like to think that I was quite early on in the whole digital world for HRO and car buying and everything like that. And that really gave me an insight into the world of supercars, buying, selling, which is why I have such a passion for following the markets, depreciation, car finance, everything like that. I just feel is real information that can be used every single day, especially in the world that we're all in.
I'd love to see you and Joe, our other guest, in a room together. You'd chat for hours about that.
I'll have to come down to one of your events so that I can see his cars, but also, just catch up with everyone and chat about cars.
Yeah, we'd love that. We'd love that. So, Paul, what car would you love to own but haven't had the chance yet?
That's a good question because
you've got your dream car.
Yeah. So I went through bizarre stages of what cars I wanted, and the Murcielago has always been the most stable dream car for me. It's always been the car that I grew up filming. It was the one that I was the most fascinated about, wanting to drive and wanting to own. And it was all visual and audio. It was never, oh, it must be the best driver's car ever. I can't wait to take that around a track. I knew that it drove terribly. I just loved how it looked and how it sounded. And I've always based my love for cars and opinions on cars based on how they look and how they sound. So I would probably say that an Aventador S is quite high up in terms of cars that I'd love to own, purely because it's the best of both worlds. It's a slightly better version of the original Aventador with four-wheel steer, a slightly recalibrated gearbox. So it's a slightly better version than the Gen 1 Aventador, but a leap forward in terms of modern technology compared to the Murcielago. So I think it's a nice balance between old, archaic V12 mid-engine Lambo and modern day technology. But at the same time, I would love to kind of pile into a V10 platform, R8 V10 Plus, Huracan, Performante, one of those cars, and just go nuts because they're so under-engineered in terms of there's so much more potential with that chassis and engine that there are a lot of American companies that twin turbo them, that supercharge them. And I drove a supercharged Performante in California that had 900 brake horsepower, and it genuinely blew my mind. And so I kind of want to bring a little bit of what those guys do out in the West Coast of America and bring that over to the UK, because I think their perspective on modifying cars is totally different to the UK. But I feel like I could bring that over to the UK and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think you should definitely do that. That'd be something.
It's more interesting than getting an Aventador and straight piping it. I think if you were to go and bolt on a supercharger to a Huracan or whatever, like everyone would be tuning in. Is it going to blow up today? Like,
that'll be quite a movement to, like you say, bring across some of the stuff they do in America. Some of these crazy engine tunes that they do on what were already not slow cars.
I'm not advocating that the Performante needs an extra 260 brake horsepower. I just think it would be a great idea to have it.
One though, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. But I've seen in America firsthand people buying cars and not even collecting them from the dealership. They just ship them straight off to the shop, and they get the turbos added with delivery miles on before they've even been run in. And you're just like, that mindset is just totally different to what we have. People are scared of decatting cars here because it's like, oh, it's going to fail an MOT.
Yeah.
That is a very American mindset, isn't it? Just, well, like Jeremy Clarkson says, power.
Exactly, yeah. Just take is it the Hennessy Widowmaker? Where they've just basically made it 1,000 brake horsepower, but it's still got stock brakes, stock tyres, stock suspension.
Tomorrow, yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
I think all they care about is how much fuel it takes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The less miles per gallon, the better for those guys over there.
Yeah, it's so cheap out there. They just don't care. I've got friends that I'm just staring at them how they're driving. I'm like, do you not think about MPG? And then they fuel up and it costs like $45, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll drive the same.
That's another one of the ironies of the lockdown, isn't it? Fuel's never been cheaper and we're all stuck in our houses.
Exactly. I got advised just before lockdown. It was like, make sure you always have a full tank. We're not sure when we're going to get more petrol in. And then all of a sudden, there's just this huge surplus because no one's driving.
Yeah.
I've still got a full tank in my car and I can't use it.
Oh, that's horrible.
Sad state of affairs. Sad.
Yeah.
Paul, who's your automotive idol and why?
I would probably go back to the original trio from Top Gear that are now on the Grand Tour. I think just what they were able to achieve in terms of taking what is fundamentally a nerdy car show aimed at car enthusiasts and petrol heads and opened up this path of entertainment. And whilst they still are able to tap into us car nerds and still do the reviews and the lap times and give us what we want, they've opened it up to a completely different audience with the road trips, the specials, the challenges, going on bikes, going on boats now on Amazon. I just think those guys really reinvented the wheel in terms of automotive content. And whilst now we're sat here waiting for their new Amazon series, which I'm pretty sure they're just doing specials, right? They're scrapping all of the studio stuff and going with that. That's kind of where I really got a passion for tuning into Top Gear and making sure that it was my weekly, I must watch this next episode. What are they going to do? And that has transferred over to Amazon as well. I do like the concept of the new Top Gear with the guys that present it now. I think that's brilliant. And provides an element of mainstream entertainment, but still I think Jeremy, James and Richard, their relationship on camera brings a different perspective that I think that is what I would always dream of creating with my friends. If I can emulate what those guys do, even 5%, then I'd be happy. So I think they would probably be my number one idol. But there's loads of amazing creators out there. Like, I would love my videos to look like seen through glasses. I would love to be uploading at the rate that Shmee150 uploads. And I'd love to own the cars that JWW owns. So, like, there's this amazing balance between all of us. And we all have a mutual respect for everyone with the content that we create. And when we come together, we're able to have fun and go on road trips and share our experiences with everyone else. But, yeah, I think Top Gear is definitely the early subscribers.
I think every person who's a petrol head that dreams of going on some sort of epic journey or voyage, they've got Top Gear in their mind because of that. Like you said, it's the dynamic between the three of them. It's the laughing, the joking, the taking the mick out of each other, practical jokes on each other. That's what people imagine when they think petrol head road trip, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they nailed the relationship between car and owner as well, and they're able to bring these cars to life and give them a personality, which was one of the things that I really wanted to do when I first got my Audi R8. It really was, how do I get this car to have a personality on the channel, which is why I wrapped it in the Iron Man theme. That was the whole inspiration behind buying the car in silver. I wanted it to emulate the first R8 that was in Iron Man because I had such great memories with that film. But then wrapping it in Iron Man it kind of gave it a bit more of a personality to the channel than just if I kept it silver or wrapped it in a traditional satin black or whatever. It just kind of added a different perspective to it, and that was always my plan with that car, and it kind of worked. And I think people still remember the Iron Man R8 days, so, or at least I get messages about it still. So it definitely worked.
Certainly do. Certainly do. I remember the first time hearing the Army Tricks exhaust on the R8. It blew my little mind away. It was mental.
I couldn't believe that they were able to get that sound out of that car. It was unreal. I
just can't imagine the size of the cats and the mufflers that were in the exhaust to silence it so much. Yeah.
The whole back box of the stock R8, I've still got it in my mum's garage, actually. The stock back box of the R8 is still in my mum's garage. Wow. And she does remind me quite often, when are you going to get rid of this exhaust? And yeah, it's huge and super heavy as well. So when you put the titanium system on as well, and it's fundamentally just pipes, it makes a world of a difference.
Yeah. So obviously we're in lockdown right now. What are you doing to pass the time, Paul?
I think definitely concentrating a lot on having a positive outlook, really, because I think it's very easy for you to just mope around and be like, oh my God, I can't believe we're in lockdown. We're not allowed to go out. Can't go to our favorite restaurants. Can't even see our friends, family. So I'm kind of spending a lot of time just focusing on working on the projects that will happen once we come out of lockdown. I'm trying to keep as active and as healthy as possible. So I'm keeping moving. I'm going out once a day for my daily exercise, whether that's a run or just a walk. And I'm using the space that I've got in here to do sort of other workouts as well, just because I think if I stopped physically, then everything else would slowly follow. So working out, I've got a PlayStation with Gran Turismo, so I'm trying to get good at that because I've got a couple of online races with some other Michelin guys coming up. So I better hop on there after I've spoken to you guys and see if I can get any faster around the Goodwood circuit. And that's about it, really. I think, yeah, definitely planning and working on future projects and using this time that we've got, which is kind of, I'd treat it as a bit of a pause. We're all kind of in this same weird floaty moment where we can really use the time to our advantage, whereas normally we'd be running around, jumping to meetings, hopping on phone calls, going out and filming. Because we have so much time at home, I'm really trying to either innovate what is already existing on my channel or come up with new ideas, ways in which I can collaborate, or even just going back and watching old Top Gear episodes and being like, that's what I'm going to do when I come out of this. So just trying to use my time as best as possible, really, but at the same time, try not to go crazy.
Oh, dear. Okay, then. So let's make a start on the quick fire questions. So these are literally 5 questions. First thing comes in your head, bam, answer. They're quite safe questions. They're quite safe questions.
Okay.
Okay, right. Bangers or match?
Bangers.
F1 or Le Mans?
F1.
Favourite film?
I don't watch films. I'm really bad with films.
You must have one.
I mean, Top Gear's a film, isn't it?
That's DVD. What did I watch yesterday? Toy Story 4.
If you had to trade lives with someone, who would it be and why?
I would say David Beckham, because you've probably got the best part of his life now. He's done all of the hard work and he's earned the money and he's now in retirement and he's enjoying it. So, that's my lazy brain talking right there.
Fair enough. And finally, would you rather be attacked by 1 horse-sized duck or 20 duck-sized horses?
20 duck-sized horses is always the answer.
I think we've had that from everyone today.
Always the answer.
Yeah.
I think Leon went for 1 duck-sized horse.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. I just seen that as an impossible task. It's
Yeah. I think when you've got duck-sized objects, you can do some serious damage in one kick.
When we first discussed this, we did say we're going to get in so much trouble with animal rights activists. We can't.
Yeah, I mean, you just ended up treading on them all.
Just to say, we do not condone violence against ducks.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely
No,
not.
all animals whatsoever were harmed in the making of this video.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Paul, thank you so much for taking part. It's been fantastic to talk with you.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Have you got any other questions you want to ask us?
Yeah. Okay. When all of this ends, let's say it's going to end in mid-May. Are you guys working on when the next event is?
Yeah.
Or the next gathering?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we obviously, given the government guidelines, you know, we're playing it month by month, because currently we run our events on the third Sunday of every month. So, you know, we're really keen to get started as soon as possible, but you know, we want to take all precautions for the public safety as well as our own, you know, to prevent any additional spread of this virus. So I think we'll just be playing it by ear. But we're very keen to get everyone back together and, you know, get everyone enjoying the petrol heads, you know, place that we tried to create.
100%. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'll keep my eyes peeled. Once this lockdown does end, then I'll be making a beeline for anywhere near you guys when the weather's good, and hopefully be able to bring something loud and semi-fast. Did you say black?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of where I was alluding to with the semi-fast, because an 11-year-old V12 Lamborghini is not quite up to what we're experiencing now in 2020 with all of these Teslas.
But it's just so much cooler than a 720S.
Yeah, I agree. It's a pretty ridiculous car. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, that'll be great. We'd love to meet you in person, Paul, and
yeah, definitely
grab a drink and yeah, it'd be lovely to see you at Refuel. And I bet you've probably got loads of fans down here that would they'd love to see you there as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'd love to come down that way. Like, I've only been to Caffeine in the Machine once, I think, and for me, even that's quite far, and I'm north of London. So yeah, but I've been going to Salcombe for years, like ever since I was probably 2 or 3. So I've got some pretty cool memories from going down there, and there's like some decent cars around there. I remember normally every time I go down, I see like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or something like that. There's some nice cars down there.
Yeah. The thing about Devon, Paul, is that there are so many nice cars down here, but they're all tucked away. Quite a lot of the time, you might see them once or twice a year. But, you know, we've got everything from like 1937 vintage Bugattis to Aston Martin Zagato shooting brakes and Sennas. But they just don't come out. And say one of the things we want to achieve with Refuel is to give them an excuse to come out.
No, I'm with you on that.
Awesome.
I think it's something we've already seen a lot of, isn't it? All these cars that are hidden away in people's garages, workshops in Devon, you really don't see them very often on the road. And then we've opened the gates of Refuel, and you know, we're massive petrol heads, and we thought we knew what nice cars were down here in Devon, and it wasn't until we opened the gates of Refuel and all this stuff starts coming through the gate when even we were absolutely blown away. We just did not realise how much cool stuff there was down here that just they just didn't have a destination to take it.
Yeah, that's awesome that you guys have done that and open the doors. And yeah, once all of this ends, then I think everyone's just going to be itching to get out, drive, and congregate safely with all of this social distancing.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough bit, isn't it? Because we've even said, like Josh was alluding to just now, that you know, once the government say yes, meets are allowed again, you know, we can't necessarily just suddenly start up Refuel. You know, we need to think very carefully about how we do it, because you know, we're a business. We've got a responsibility to look after the public, so we're going to have to be very careful. But yeah, we're itching to get everyone back together again. Yeah,
I bet. Yeah, I think that it will be all done in stages. So, I mean, I think it's great that you guys are thinking about the safety of everyone, because there will be people that will just try and take advantage of it and just try and pile as many people in as possible. And I do think that as like the public will be a little bit skeptical about getting back into large gatherings. And I've said to my girlfriend loads, like, these live events and sporting events, like, they're going to take a long time to get back to people being comfortable about getting into an arena with 25,000 people just like this. So
yeah, totally.
I think it's a cool opportunity though for you guys to do like very small, private, intimate, like drives and going out to eat and stuff like that.
Yeah. And like you said about, you know, making the most of the opportunity, you know, we'd never intended to do cool online digital stuff like this. So for us, it's a fantastic opportunity we already had all our social media channels, we had our website, but it's a great opportunity for us to grow our digital presence, you know, meet people like yourself. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the lockdown. So so many opportunities. And like you said, with what you're doing with your channel, it's just time to stop, breathe, plan, get a load of work done that you probably wouldn't get done otherwise.
There's I think there's so many people that are seeing it as a negative and kind of getting frustrated that they can't go about their day-to-day life. But I reckon there's going to be a whole wave of people complaining once we go back to normal and everyone has to go back to work. Everyone's going to be like, oh man, like I actually really like lockdown.
Well, we are British. We've got to have something to complain about, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll complain about anything.
Cool. Paul,
Awesome.
Thank you so much, man. So it's been a pleasure. And
no, it's really good to meet you guys.
Yeah, I'll send you over Joe's Instagram information later on, so you can have a look. That'll be some evening reading for you.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's been
sounds good. No, thank you guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks,
awesome.
Paul. Take care of yourself.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you later.
Right, last but not least, we've got the link to the online treasure hunt for you. If you missed it earlier, then the link we're about to give you will lead you to a list of clues and questions. Each clue, when solved, will lead you to a website. When you get to that website, you'll need to answer the questions by hunting around the website for each answer. Every answer gives you a person, place, car, or number to eliminate from a preset list of answers. At the end, you'll be left with one person, one place, one car, and a single number. Not a single number, just one number.
There's a Refuel hat for the first person who sends in the correct answers at the end. And in addition to that, there will be a random draw at 9 p.m. tonight on Sunday, the 19th of April, of all the people who submitted the correct answers. The winner of the draw will get a Refuel t-shirt. The winners will be announced on social media, so get cracking with the clues, submit your answers, and keep your eyes peeled later tonight.
So here's the link. It's www.re-fuel.co.uk/win. So that's re-fuel.co.uk/win. And if you're watching live, that's also just been posted on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember, if you're watching this video back at a later time or date, then the prizes may have already been won. The link will still work and you can still crack on and have a go at the treasure hunt. Don't forget to stay tuned a little later on to find out who the winners are. Thank you so much again to all of you for joining us, both those watching at home and our special guests. Don't forget to get bidding on our charity auction at re-fuel.co.uk/NHS and to play our online treasure hunt to win prizes at re-fuel.co.uk/win. Stay safe, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you all very soon.